In future episodes of the show, we're going to, we talk about in the report the actors who are needed to make it happen, and especially the fast moving, the brands and the retailers who kind of sit at the heart of the design of this system. But I wonder if you could say a little bit about, what are the big barriers or challenges to making this happen? Because I guess we've painted a nice picture in some ways of the opportunities of it. Of course, it doesn't mean it's easy to do.
Yeah, so we lay out 5 actions in the study for these food brands and retailers to make these amazing, iconic products that Gal just showed us a reality, right? Because that's what we want to work towards. And a couple, if I can just highlight, one of them, which hopefully has come through, is quite a crucial one, is as and you were highlighting earlier, Sab, is it's like a completely new way of a mindset of approaching how we're sourcing ingredients and how we're making the most of the land that we're tending to. And that's why we see the great benefits, especially when it comes to biodiversity and climate, because you're actually making the most of what can be produced. So rather than just using, for instance, clover as an intercrop or cover crop with, say, wheat, which also fixates nitrogen to the soil and is great, what if we actually planted peas? And so that's why we designed that cereal to be using wheat and peas in combination. To do that, these businesses need to create a new collaborative dynamic with farmers. There needs to be designing these products for nature, but with farmers, because it's a dialogue around, okay, you're here today, let's say in a conventional wheat plot. What does it actually need based on the conditions of the land? Because regenerative production, very importantly, is all about mindset and approach rather than mechanical, here's your prescription, because you're in a completely different relationship with the place and the land. So it's about what does the future, let's say 10 years from now, what does that actually look like in this place based on conditions? And therefore, what do you start planting today, or what livestock do you integrate? And then me as a buyer, what are my future options in terms of what ingredients will be produced? And therefore, how does that impact my design strategies, not just for a single product or product line, but we're looking at entire portfolio redesign. So taking this notion of an opportunity as a circular design for food and running that through the whole portfolio. So that's another one of our action areas that we lay out in the study, is around creating well-resourced and ambitious action plans to really get this embedded, because we see more and more companies making commitments and putting good energy and investment into things like regenerative agriculture. However, there's still room to go in terms of creating really well thought through and resource strategies to roll that out across the board. And one other very important area, if I can highlight, is around policy, which we haven't spoken about yet. But of course, there's great opportunity for policymakers through their allocation of subsidies, where there's a vast amount of resources that goes to farmers each year to further support regenerative production, but also areas where there's lots of innovation needed, things like upcycled ingredients. We don't see solutions really at scale today. So thinking about those public dollars that are dedicated to our R&D and innovation programs, what if we started to orient that to things like upcycling innovations that all of industry can benefit from? So there's lots of different ways that policymakers can help set a playing field that allows us to move to this positive vision as quickly as possible.